If you're marketing on Reddit, and if you're not, you really should be, there's some things that you need to be aware of. There's some changes that they've made, very significant changes when they made their partnership with Google. And this is really important because if you're monitoring or running multiple Reddit accounts for different clients or for yourself, it's extremely important that you keep those IPs and those proxies and those devices absolutely separate, because once you mingle them, they look at it like Google AdWords. A few years ago, there were a lot of people tossed off Google AdWords and they would not let them create a new account because they are matching not only the browser, not only the device, like all these fingerprints that you have. And that is the world that we live in. And I would expect this to continue to be an important consideration moving forward, particularly with AI. AI obviously makes it easier to create content. So you're going to have to be cleaner about managing your accounts. So this is primarily a video for people that want to manage multiple Reddit accounts. Of course, this applies for any different account, Instagram, whatever. But I'm going to be talking mostly about Reddit because I feel like Reddit is really important in the conversation, and it's a place where brands are coming into and they don't have the experience with managing multiple accounts. And I expect this to become a trending topic because Reddit, if you're not on Reddit, like you're really missing the boat. It's where the conversations happen, direct customers, dealing with complaints, dealing with problems. There's a whole bunch of really cool ways that you can market on Reddit as a business, and you need to start doing it now. So why would you need something like Multilogin? Well, Multilogin basically allows you to manage unlimited social accounts, and you don't have that device limit. So I have a laptop, I have a phone, I've got a second laptop, and so on and so forth. I can go to a coffee shop. All that stuff doesn't protect you. And I want to get to something I think really important here. So I'll just say I have a lot of Gmail accounts and a lot of different accounts that I run primarily for myself. But the problem is you really need to run these multiple accounts through a correct channel, and you need to do that from the beginning. And that's where something like Multilogin comes in. It's going to really help clean up the mess that you may have made. And you can run hundreds of mobile and web accounts, which is completely fine. So there's a couple things that I want to understand, show you here to understand, and then I'll get into how it works. This is the interface, and we're going to get into that. But essentially, all of these are real Android devices in the cloud. Okay, so it's not a spoofed fingerprint. It's not basically genuine hardware, genuine Android hardware. It has a unique IMEI, Android ID, Mac ID, all that kind of stuff. So when they access through the Multilogin, okay, it's going to be completely separate from all your other clients. So that means you're not going to have mixing that means you're not going to have stuff mixed up, and you're going to have the best in terms of proxy protection. So what they do is this works on all the platforms that you probably use. And if you separate these accounts, you're going to see significantly better improvement in the quality of the signals that you're giving to places like Reddit, and they're going to perform better. These accounts are actually going to perform better because you're not accidentally mingling these different accounts. And so this works for all these different platforms. And one of the cool things is, obviously, as a social media manager, you want to manage the multiple browser and mobile accounts from one central location. Logging in, logging out. If you're managing people's Reddit accounts and you're just switching on your phone to a different account, that is not going to be good for your clients. You need something like Multilogin in this case. So you get built-in residential and mobile proxies for each of the platforms. And as I said here, you're going to run the real cloud Android phones in the cloud without the physical ones. So no devices, no SIM cards required. You're not going to look like some crypto hacker in some bad movie, like with a whole basket full of Android phones. You don't need any of that anymore. You also can install and use apps like, and this is important, Instagram, TikTok, or Reddit. This is what we're going to be talking about directly on these cloud phones. So you can do the whole app verification, setup, sign in, and all the likes and shares, posts independently on this platform. And it's going to keep everything clean. That's really important. It is important distinction to understand what is a cloud phone, and that's a real Android device hosted in the cloud. So it's got its independent device, its own OS, and you can select that. So it's different hardware parameters, storage, network signals. This is the best thing that you're going to do if you want to keep those things separate. Now, one thing that I did want to show you is they've got some great reviews, and I think this is worth just pointing out because particularly when you look at Capterra and G2, these are typically very business-oriented people, pretty dry. And when you have a perfect 5-star rating, particularly from 62 users, that's significant. And that's significant because it's a very good automation tool, excellent for my work, easily manage multiple accounts, managing multiple accounts with cloud phones. So this is the way to do it. And I'm surprised they even have 5-star reviews because typically you have someone trying this with really bad hardware, software, and or something, or some kind of spyware, and things don't work properly, and they usually complain about it online. But this all has very solid 5-star reviews, so that's pretty significant to me. So I wanted to point that out. When it comes to Reddit and all these other different platforms, I don't want to be alarmist. I don't want to get you on the path of thinking about vote manipulation and things, but that is very important to understand. And it's really about not doing this by accident because these include tracking patterns that suggest the same person is using multiple accounts to artificially boost content. That's a problem for you as a social media manager if you're managing multiple people's accounts and you're just switching and you're using the same hardware, if you're using the same phone to make those posts, to do those upvotes. Even if you switch accounts, that is not clean. And as I mentioned before, Google AdWords went through this. It was the IP tracking. It is one piece of the puzzle. So it's very important to keep these separate, but they also track the hardware and the device. And that's why having a cloud phone really is the only way to keep things clean. And look at that, because they look at, I'm just telling you, Reddit looks at these things like the timing of the votes. These votes always happen at the same time, like 8 a.m. Eastern time. Do they consistently upvote the same kind of people's posts and comments? All these fingerprints are all over your actions on these platforms. And these platforms take that very seriously because their algorithm is what operates their whole business model. So they have the smartest people in the world, maybe, working on trying to decipher and see which votes are real and all that kind of stuff. So you just want to basically just don't worry about all the technical aspects of that. Just keep things completely separate. That's the best thing that you can do. So again, if you've done this before, just through the same account, it's fine. They will look for a pattern. So if you can separate these, it's going to be better. And Reddit does shadow ban votes. So they'll discount votes based on if they think the person's using the same hardware. That is important. But I want to point out that Reddit as a marketing channel has grown dramatically. And this is really important, particularly because Reddit, you might have noticed, now appears more prominently in Google SERPs in ways that it didn't a couple of years ago. So this is because they made a deal with this. You really need to be on Reddit. And 2 years ago, let's say 2023, Reddit was maybe a 3 out of 4 out of 10 for most businesses. You didn't really need to be on it. Now, yeah, it's a must. So that's why this is important. And Reddit is showing up more in Google search, and people trust it. And that's one of the big factors that we're facing with marketing right now is that trust factor, because, hey, let's face it, there's so much AI slop out there that trust is becoming more of a commodity. And that's why Reddit, I think, is really important. Plus, Reddit's community is allergic to marketing, which makes... So let's pop it open here and I'll show you what it looks like. So this is the app that you would download, and they have different proxies, different templates, different extensions you can put in, and you can have a team. So that's important for certain people. Now up here, there's the browser and the mobile. Okay, so this is the browser, and this is the best anti-detect browser. So if you just want to do that, you can do that. But you'll see how in the mobile, the way that this is structured is it's structured under profiles, right? So you have these different profiles that you can create. So they have a library here. You can upload different files and reuse them across mobile profiles. So everything stays really nice and clean. So we'll go back to the profiles here. So what you're going to do is you're going to want to create, and you can do regular or bulk creation. I'm just going to show the regular creation. I'm just going to make a profile. And here's what's cool. You can create tags. So you can tag things in terms of the account, or maybe you want to tag it in terms of the brand that you're working for when you're creating these accounts. And I love this part here in Note because you can put a short profile about that person so you know who they are. 33-year-old male, struggling actor. And just, I like this because it recenters you back on the brand for whatever that is. Put them in a different folder. And then in the location, you can search for a location. So you could just put United States. You can drop it down to a specific region and a specific city if you wanted to do that. But for this demonstration, I'll just put none. And when you do that, you can also do a specific ISP. So this is very specific about who this person is and where this device comes from. So I hope you're getting the importance of that. And then you can choose the OS version. So I'm going to choose Android 14. You can choose even a device brand. So let's go with Xiaomi. And then we will create that. It wants me to select the model. Let's go with the 12S Ultra. So everything's like very specific, and that's what you need to be. You need to have these specificities and then keep them in separate buckets if you are a social media manager. So here's the profile that we created. So you can go in and do that. So when you're in the mobile tab, you can just click start, and this will actually like load the mobile browser. And this is not going to be using your own IP. This is going to be using the IP that we created for this profile. All right, so here it is loading, connecting to the cloud phone. So this is what's creating that separation between your device and the multi-login profile. And I think this is pretty important to understand. It takes a couple seconds to load, but again, the alternative to this is buying a bunch of old Android phones, buying SIM cards, buying phone plans, and that really doesn't make sense because these multi-login cloud phones are just so much easier. I'm going to put a link in the description. You can start your 3-day trial for €1.99. So less than €2, you can start having these multi-login accounts and really run a professional social media manager business. So check out the link in the description for that. So now we've got this loaded here. And as you can see here, we've got the Play Store we can go to, and this looks just like an Android phone. You can see the transmission, look at all these different things, and do that. Now, under the apps here, this is where you can actually install any app. So this is actually just like the App Store. So you can install certain ones for the team and that sort of thing. So I'm just going to search for Reddit, and then I'm going to install Reddit. You can log in here with a username. And I just wanted to show here, yeah, like you can actually like in the notes, you can copy this. So you can have your bio that you're going to put and just copy that to other things. And you can see here the device info. It's a US based device like we requested. So it's got its own serial number, own profile ID, all that good stuff. I've already signed up with an email. So what you want to do here is actually for the best consistency, sign up with this. And let's say your client gives you a Reddit to go through, you can just log right into the Reddit account. There's no problem with that. But if I want to create one that's completely separate with completely different device, country, GeoIP location, different hardware information than what I do, then I can just either continue with Google or use an email or username. So let's go with this one, use an email or username, and then I'll actually log in to this account. So I'm going to use wearables at Atomic.io. And so I'll just do this and then pop over to the username, and I'm going to go to sign up actually, and I'm going to paste in my email address. Now you can use Proton Mail or anything that you want. So then it sent a 6-digit code. Okay. So I'm just going to refresh here. Here's my 6-digit code here for Reddit. All right. And this is not using any of my own device information. So I'll just continue with that. And we need an email or a username. Let's just go with something similar. And we'll set a password, and let's set a password. You can either type it here or just type it like with your keyboard. Okay. So I'm going to not click allow. It's going to ask for a birthday, and let's go with March 19th, 97. And I'm going to put man, and then I'm going to choose my interests here. Let's say tech, wellness, customize my feed. Let's show a couple things here, meal prep and gaming. So now it's building my feed. So I've got a completely different Reddit account here. And as you see here, you can just go and scroll and find what it is you're looking for, exactly like on Reddit. And let's say I want to go to group right here. I can join this group. Love it. Okay. I can basically start uploading and doing everything that I would normally do here. So let's make a post here, writing articles for me. So you can put in GIFs, you can do everything that you want. And as I said, this is completely on a different IP. So it's completely separate from what it is that you want to be. All right. Now, let's just go here. And as I'm filming this video, I'm in Portugal. So let's just check out what is my IP. So here's loaded, and you can see I'm in the eastern side of United States here, maybe in, I'm not sure where. We'll zoom in a bit. There I am in the United States. And so you can see that this keeps things completely separate. So the great thing is once I leave this account and go back, and by the way, I can install other apps, Instagram, TikTok, any app from the App Store. This is very like a robust, long-term way to keep everything together. So we'll just install Instagram Lite. As a social media manager, here's the most important point. You need to be keeping these accounts separate. It's really important. It will actually help your algorithm reach better than by commingling these accounts, even by accident. And so it is important to do that. The only way to do that is to have a basket full of phones and feel like you're some kind of ghetto villain, or to have Multilogin, where you can manage unlimited social accounts without device limits. And you're going to have a very clean, organized experience that's always going to be completely separate, and they know what they're doing. So that's what I would recommend. Give the Multilogin cloud phones a try. There's a €1, €1.99, €1.99 trial for 3 days. You can check it out, see if it worked for you. I'll put a link in the description. And if you have any questions about this, let me know in the comments. So I hope this wasn't too technical, too over the top. I tried to explain the reasons why it's important, but more importantly, this is the solution for you if you are juggling multiple social media accounts. You definitely don't want to be using it on the same computer or on the same phone in today's day and age, no matter what. So whether you're a social media manager or someone that just has multiple social accounts, this is a great way to really keep things clean and working flawlessly. So check out the link in the description and try Multilogin. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you in the next one.